12 days before decision day, an investigation is underway on the Comelec debate controversy. The poll body also addresses complaints about its online precinct finder. Joining us now live is spokesman James Jimenez. James, thank you so much for joining us. There are headlines. I have to ask you this question. There are headlines linking you to the debate fund mess that you guaranteed the multi-million contract organizer Impact Hub had signed with Sofitel Philippine Plaza to the debates without seeking authority from the Comelec Bank. What is the real score here, James?
Well, I can't go into great detail about this, Rico, because as you said, there is an ongoing inquiry into it, and I have given my side on that matter. But I think in the end, we will be borne out. The facts will come out, and I think that will be standing for itself.
So when will the Comelec finalize the investigation and release to the media its findings? Is there any date on that?
Well, no firm date, but Commissioner Bulay, who is heading the investigation, has said that he might have something for the media by Friday. So we're all waiting on that.
All right. Now that the debates will not be happening anymore, what is the status right now of the Comelec one-on-ones or tandem interviews? Are they still pushing through next week?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are pushing through. And in fact, we're having a signing of a memorandum of agreement with our new partner, KBP. That MOA signing will be done tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, and it will be for the conduct of the Pilipinas forums. As you said, this is a one-on-one interview with a candidate and a panel of composed mostly of anchors. So that should be very interesting as well.
So which presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates have already confirmed for these one-on-ones? And will it be one-on-ones or will it be in tandem with their vice presidential running mates?
Well, that'll be the choice of the candidate. If the candidate, for example, says that they want to do the interview with their vice president, then I believe the rules will allow them to do that. Right now, we only have two confirmations. So we're going to wait until tomorrow, because tomorrow we are expecting the bulk of the confirmations. So we'll make the announcement then.
So who have confirmed so far? Who are these two candidates, James?
If I'm not mistaken, that would be Secretary Abella and Secretary Gonzalez.
What about Vice President Leni Robredo, Isko Moreno, Ping Lacson, former Senator Bongbong Marcos? Have they confirmed as well if they will participate in these one-on-ones or tandem interviews?
We're still waiting on those gentlemen and the lady, So we're still waiting on them. We hope that tomorrow we'll get their confirmations.
And who will be these journalists who will be comprising the panel that will be interviewing the candidates?
Well, these are anchors from different networks. I believe your name is on the short list as well, Rico. So these are the most experienced anchors on air right now with the various networks, and we're able to get them, I think, because of our partnership with KBP. So that's a very good thing to look out for.
All right. Thank you so much for all this information. And fair enough that you cannot answer the question about the debate fund mess because the investigation is currently ongoing. I'd like to find out from you right now, James, about the precinct finder, which is currently already up online. It is voterverifier.comelec.gov.ph. I've personally found my precinct when I typed in my first name, middle name, family name, and my place of registration. But many registered voters, James, have complained that they can't find their own records. What could be the issue here?
Well, it can be various things. For example, Rico, when I tried the precinct finder myself, I didn't get a record result either. The result returned negative, right? And then I remembered that I do have a second name that I normally don't use, and I typed that in, and then I got my name correctly. So showed that I am a registered voter and that I am supposed to be voting in a particular precinct. So a lot of times that's what the problem comes down to. People forget how they wrote their names on their registration forms. Unfortunately, the precinct finder isn't a smart search, so to speak. It's an exact search, which means that the name you enter when you search for your record has to be the exact same spelling exact same presentation as it was on your registration record when you filed your voter registration.
But James,
Sometimes,
a lot of my friends who couldn't find their names wrote their names exactly in how they registered. Is there a
yeah,
possibility that because they didn't vote in the last election in 2019 or didn't vote in 2016 or in the barangay level elections, they've been taken off the registered voters list?
well, that's the second case I was going to say.
Uh-huh.
You might also not be on the list if you've been deactivated, and you get deactivated if you miss 2 consecutive elections. That's also a very common thing that we're seeing now. And finally, the third most common thing that we're seeing is when you have a tokayo, when you have a person with the same name as you. One of the things that we did with the precinct finder was that really removed a lot of the private information that used to be on there. For
Mm.
example, we used to ask for your birthday, and this would allow us to identify a person with great specificity. But now we've removed that out of data privacy concerns, and so sometimes it happens that you
So,
end up with 2 records, and you have to verify
so how do
whether or
you
not you're
verify?
actually
How do
registered.
you activate once again your deactivated registration if you haven't voted for 2 consecutive elections?
Well, you can't do it anymore, not now.
Ah.
You're going to have to wait for the registration period again and then go to the Comelec office to ask for a reactivation.
But a lot of people are not aware of this, James. They're saying now that they have
Unfortunately.
been disenfranchised.
Well, please note, Rico, that the registration period was more than a year. It had a month-long extension, and during that time, it was all that anybody could talk about. And we were talking about deactivation then. We
Hmm.
were talking about people missing 2 elections prior, and then that they would have to register again. So I think it was discussed thoroughly, and it was part of the public consciousness for a very, very long time.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, now some people are saying that, I voted in 2016, I didn't vote in 2019. You ask them if they voted in 2018, and they remember, oo nga pala, may barangay elections nga pala. And that's usually the case. People sometimes forget that they've missed an election, and they end up missing 2 without realizing
But
it.
is it also possible, James, that they missed voting in 2 elections, but if they go to the polling station on May 9th, their names will be there?
That would be highly unlikely if they missed 2 previous elections and then they'd still be on the list. That's highly unlikely.
Oh, so what do they do if they want to double check if whether if they remember? Oh, I voted in the barangay elections and in 2019. Is there an email where they can ask questions, or should they go to the Comelec office and find out the answers?
There's both. So first, I would suggest that you go directly to the office of the election officer. You get all the answers there. If you can't do that, then you can send us an email, voterverifier@comelec.gov.ph. So 2 things, right? You either go in person or you send an email.
There's another email that was mentioned to me by some people. It's itdhelpdesk@comelec.gov.ph. What is that email?
It's the same. It goes to the same place, but right now we're using voter verifier at comelec.gov.ph because it's what a lot of people remember easier, because it's the same name as the precinct finder. But if you use that email address, you'd still end up in the same place.
Thank you so much for the information, Comelec spokesperson James Jimenez.